Today I want to talk to you guys about IPO stocks, and one of the reasons why is because I've found tremendous, and I mean tremendous success with IPO stocks. It's kind of funny that, my journey to like really focus in on IPO stocks came about because, so many people were talking about stocks like Snapchat and stocks like, Facebook, and it was just one of those things where it's like, is there a way to look at the charts of these stocks and have an idea that would tell you, hey, this stock is going to do well, as opposed to others that do not do well. And that's kind of how I got started. So let's get started. Basically, if you guys can see my screen, hopefully everybody can see my screen. If you can relate to this, you will know where I'm coming from. And that is lots of time I see many people out there talking about, hey, if only you had invested $1,000 in these three stocks back in the 1980s, you'll be a millionaire today. And if anyone has ever heard that or, seen that, you know exactly what I mean. And I'm pretty sure you're not alone, because I would see stuff like this, and especially when I first started, learning about the markets and everything, it's like, wow, how did they know? How did they know that these were the stocks that were going to do so well? And I remember being very skeptical when I first started, even taking classes, listening to, experts. It's like, well, how do you know that this was really going to turn out this way? Was this more so something in hindsight, or is this something that gave you clues ahead of time to see those things? Or was it just a guess? And that's what, got me started on this whole thing. But at the end of the day, looking back now, when I see comments like this or I see articles like this, I feel like it's so unfair, because it's just like, anybody could look back in time. If you look at the date of this article, and again, as I point this out, I'm not even pointing out, anything about who wrote it. It doesn't really matter who wrote it, because there's tons and tons and tons of articles similar to this or comments similar like this on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you might go, that, post stuff like this. And my whole concept is, at least the whole thing again is, if it's done in hindsight, how is that really helping? Okay, if it's done in hindsight, how is that really helping? So if you look over here, you'll see right there where this was posted on February 23rd, 2017. And I'm pretty sure if you go out there today, you'll probably see some new ones that are just being posted like that. The one I hear about a lot now is, oh yeah, if you had bought Bitcoin back in 2010, you'll be a multi-millionaire now. If you invested in Bitcoin 2 years ago, you'd have done so well. And that's true, but at the end of the day, it's like, hey, it would be nice if I was being told about this 2 years ago when the setup was getting ready to go higher. So I see comments like this again, and I say, this just made me feel so, it felt unfair, because all it did was make me feel so bad about missing out on stocks like this. And then if you're anything like me, when I first started, it's like, man, the stocks that I actually got into did not do so well. And then it just, compounds that even more. So at the end of the day, my thing is, I don't like looking at stuff in hindsight. My thing is, I want to see, is there a way to see setups today? What stock today would make me a millionaire 30 years from today? Because again, 2017, looking back at stocks from the 1980s, you had 38 years to be right on that, okay? And I'm pretty sure there were stocks back in the 1980s that did horribly well. So is there a way to look at the charts of these stocks from back then or even today and say, wow, wait a second, these stocks look really good, just simply by looking at the charts and say they are ready to go higher, as opposed to others that would not do well? And that's the whole premises of what I do and why I look at the charts. Now, I call my company Right Side Trading, and the reason why I call my company Right Side Trading is because when you look at a chart, let's say we're looking at this chart right now, all right? One of the things you will see is, maybe stock is going up, going down, going up, going down, going up, going down, do all this kind of stuff, right? But the question becomes, well, anybody can say, oh yeah, you see, you should have bought down here, or you should have bought down here, or you should have bought down there, okay? And say, oh wow, stock went up. But when it was doing that and doing that and doing this, and when it came down here, if this is what we are today, what would tell us that the stock is either going to go up or continue going down. So everything on this side, the right of this chart right here, everything going here is basically the right side, the right side. Everything to the left is called the left side, or in my opinion, hindsight, okay? Hindsight. So the reason why my company is called right side trading is because when price gets down here and it hasn't even formed everything that we need to see here, what was it right around here that would have given us a clue that this stock is ready to go higher, or say, hey, wait a second, this stock is going to go even further down? And that's the whole premises of what right side trading is about, and why I see myself as one of the people that can really see what a stock is about to do, not in hindsight, but as it's about to do what it needs to do. All right, so like I said, my thing was I wanted to figure out, how can I tell that a stock like Amazon or stock like Facebook would have done well before it got to this point? Now, we can see that Amazon went up 83,000% since its IPO, but I'm pretty sure most people did not think or see Amazon becoming the juggernaut that it is today when it first came out. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of questions, a lot of doubts, but was there anything on the chart that could have told us back then that Amazon could become a company like this? So what I did was I went back to the year 2000, and I found a list of every single IPO stock that came out in the year 2000. And what I did was I just focused on looking at the charts. I looked at the ones that did well, the ones that did not do well. And I did that for each year up until 2016. I literally went out. And so you go back and it was like over 2,700 IPO stocks. And some of them are not even in existence anymore. But what I kept on doing was I said, okay, all right, this stock did well, this stock did not, this one did well, this one did not. Is there anything on the chart that would have told me, wow, okay, if you see this pattern again, then you know this stock is going to do well. And if you don't see this pattern, stay away from it, okay? And after, conducting my research, what I discovered was simply mind-blowing. And I realized that, yes, there is indeed certain things on the chart that a stock can show you right before it becomes the next Google or the next Amazon or the next Netflix, that the ones that do not don't display, okay? So I end up coming up, after fine-tuning all that, like, coming up with my process, I came up with 3 simple trading insights, and I started applying that to stocks that I trade even till today to instantly pick the winning IPO stocks without having to spot them in hindsight, okay? So if I showed you this chart right here, the question becomes, are you in the right stock or not? One of them is going to do just as well as Amazon and Facebook and Netflix, and the other one is not going to do well. But if you look at this chart, again, the whole idea and the whole concept is, this is where this chart on the left is today. It had a big gap. Well, same thing right here. If you look at this chart right here on the right, it also has a big gap, okay? They both come down in price. All right, so somebody's saying they cannot hear me. Is that correct? Can everybody else hear me? Can everybody else hear me? If you can hear me, please type in a Y. Okay, so audio is good. So let me do one thing. Okay, thank you guys. So I think it's just one person. Okay, Andy, now you, okay, all right, so. All right, so the question becomes, they all started going down. You can see as they went down right here, they had some type of pullback, okay? Then they came back down again. They had all that, and then they had this breakout. So the question becomes, after this, is this a stock that is going to go higher or not? Same thing right here. We can see the stock came down, all right? It had this pullback coming back up. Then it came back down again, and then it had this gap up that it had right there, all right? So they both displayed the same type of, trend, so to speak. But at the end of the day, after this gap up took place, okay, one of them kept on going higher and the other one didn't. So somebody said the left one is a bull flag. Let me clear up this chart just a little bit. Hold on one second. So, all right. So one is saying, hey, here was a bull flag, okay? And that is true. That is a bull flag. But at the same time, we can look at this and say, hey, this is potentially a bull flag too as well, okay? Because, if we look at this, let me try this. We can look at this and say, hey, price went up, had this right here, that would be considered a bull flag as well. All right. But again, one of them did better than the other. But, you know, the point that I'm trying to make is, you know, this is what right side trading is all about. It's like, is there something that I can see on this chart that would say, yes, okay, this one definitely, one has more power or more momentum or more of a bigger setup or better setup than the other one, okay? And that's what this is all about. And the cool thing is you don't have to do any fundamentals analysis. I mean, anybody that knows me knows that I do zero. When I say zero fundamental analysis, it's funny because I know I would go certain places and people say, oh yeah, you know, we're technical analysis. We don't focus on fundamentals. But then once you start listening to them and they start talking, they're still looking at the EPS ratio and seeing how much the company is doing and all that kind of stuff. Me, zero. I mean, zero. I said, do not tell me anything about the company. Just show me the chart and I can tell you what the stock is ready to do. All right. So if you pick the one on the left, it went up. You're absolutely right. Okay. Here is that gap that we were looking at earlier when that stock had that gap. This is that gap right here. That was the gap right here that took this stock a lot higher. And this is this gap that we saw right here. And interested enough, the stock went higher first before it did this. So again, we have a stock that went up to 169%, and then we had a stock that went down 75%. But I'm here to tell you that there's something so much about this that would have told you, wow, wait a second. Yeah, even though they both had a gap, one was weak and the other one was strong. And that's the cool thing about all this, okay? So as you can guess, if you had guessed this right, the one that went up was Facebook. And I look back now, and a lot of people look back now. Now, I didn't get into Facebook back then because I had not developed this strategy at that time. But I do remember when Facebook went public. And looking back now, it's like, wow, Facebook did really good. And the one that went down is the stock Twitter, okay? And, I mean, even till today, I mean, you can go back to the chart of Twitter today, and it's still not doing well. There's a lot of people still trying and rooting for Twitter to do well, but again, it's just, my gosh, Twitter is just not where it needs to be. And so for that reason, it's like, you know, stay away from stocks like that. All right. So again, going back to this whole concept, and I want you guys to look at this from, you know, a realistic point of view. It's like, hey, we can talk in hindsight or we can talk about stuff going forward. This is a text that I sent a buddy of mine after I've done my research on IPO stocks and after I came up with my strategy. So I put it to the test, and the very first stock that I bought was this stock right here called Ferrari, ticker symbol RACE. And you can see here, this is when I, you know, if you can read this, you probably cannot read this, but basically it says April 19, 2016. Okay, that was when I said after using my everything I've discovered from my research, I went in here, I bought Ferrari with my very, very first one. Okay, and when I bought Ferrari, I sent a picture to, I sent text to my friends saying, hey, I just bought my first Ferrari. So this one friend came back and he said, wow, really? And I got others that said the same thing too. Really? Send me some pics, send me some pics. And so I sent them a snapshot of the chart of Ferrari. This is what it is looking blown up. And you can see right here at the time that Ferrari was being sold at that time, was going for around $44. Okay, this is what the chart looked like at the time that I took the picture and I sent it to them at that point in time. Okay. I knew that it was going to do something. I knew it was going to do well. I didn't guess. I didn't hope. I didn't wish that it would do well. I knew with absolute certainty that, wow, this is a stock that I want to be in, and I want to be in this stock for quite some time, all right, because I knew that Ferrari had displayed the exact same pattern that all the other winning IPO stocks had done, all right, and for that reason, I got into that stock then. What ends up happening is this is what the chart looked like from a weekly chart point of view on Ferrari at that time, and I'm just kind of showing you guys because this is literally what I was seeing at the time when that happened. And if I was to zoom out just a little bit, same time, the same time frame is still a weekly chart. You see that right there. And of course, Ferrari has gone higher since then. All right. In that same time frame, I post this up here again, not necessarily to bash or make fun of anybody, but more so to see the comments that some people were making out there. This is a comment that was made somewhere around February of this year, actually, not even last year. Just comments made from people this year, where Ferrari kept on going higher, and people were like, "Oh wow, race did not beat earnings." Okay, so this is going back to that fundamentals again, right? Race didn't beat it did not beat earnings, because tax benefits was already baked in. You just wait until the big boys come, and you see this stock kind of go down. And so they made it very clear that they were bearish on Ferrari. And I was like, oh my gosh, if only you knew what I know. If only you knew what I see on the chart that says that, wow, this stock has more room to go even higher. And I believe at the time, Ferrari was probably like around $60 at that point in time, okay? So around $60 at that point in time, oh, it's going to go down. Why? Because, earnings did not do well, all right? And so if they shorted the stock right around that time, they probably would have been losing money on Ferrari at that time. Here's another posting right here that says, hey, I'm taking small positions. I'm buying put positions on Ferrari. Okay. And again, it's like, why would you do such a thing if you knew that this is displaying the same type of signals and same type of behavior pattern of stocks that double, triple, or more in price, right? Now, this is one that, usually makes people laugh. I'm not even going to repeat that, but you can read that on your own. Basically just saying that, wow, they missed out on this, okay? Here's another one right here. Now, and again, as you can see, this is now as it's progressing. The stock's basically going higher and higher and higher, just as we knew. Again, we didn't guess. We didn't hope. We didn't think. We knew it was going to do this, all right? And as each month went by, the stock kept on going higher and higher and higher. And the higher it went, the more skeptical some people were. And the whole thing is, again, you would not have been skeptical if you knew the power of what the chart was displaying on Ferrari at that time. Okay, so again, in the month after that, in April, this person comes out here and says, wow, I guess everyone owns a Ferrari but me. Okay, now interesting enough, the sentiment started changing to bullish, but then again, you can see right here in May over here where they would say, hey, where was I when this stock IPO'd? And this is what I don't want anybody having to say. It's like, where was I when this stock IPO'd? Because if you knew what to look for, I mean, literally every single month you can go out there and find stocks that are showing these type of displays and be the one to be in it. All right. And so, so here was May, and again, it's like I still think there's upside. It can go to $100. Da 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 da. Right. Then we had this one right here where it says, okay, my biggest mistake was I ignored this for a whole year. This is this person again in May. I ignored this for a whole year in disbelief. And again, this is what we talk about. Oh, so somebody asked me a question. Do you have trade signals and a track record? Yes, we do actually. We do have it. Once a month, I actually, one of the programs that we offer is actually for people to join me once a month, every month, because I only trade this on a monthly basis. This is not something that I trade on a day-to-day basis. I don't need to do that because I know what's going to happen to these stocks. And in that is the first Saturday of each month. We actually just had the last one this past Saturday. In there, the people that are on those calls, they get to see everything. Okay, I don't necessarily reveal that to people who are not in my inner circle yet. But once you get in my inner circle, you'll see every single stock that I'm in. I show them that. You can see, you can watch how I'm doing it. We actually just got out of some of these stocks because just as much as we know when the stock is saying it's ready to go higher, we also know when the stock is saying, hey, you know what, this trend has come to and is slowing down or coming to an end for now. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to go bearish and it's never going to go higher again. But we can see when the stocks are saying, hey, things are not going to go any higher. It's time to take profit. It's going to take a break for like the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next year. All right. We can see all this simply by looking at charts. Okay. And so when people come into that, I reveal all that. You get to see everything on that. Okay. But nevertheless, the whole idea is I'm trying to show you guys here that, everything that I'm showing you guys here where there's people out there guessing, there's people out there wondering, there's people out there having doubts. We trade knowing that with absolute certainty, like, yes, this stock is ready to do this stock is ready to do that, this stock is ready. I always tell people too, I said, look, if I tell you that a stock is going to do something and it doesn't do it, I think it's fair enough to never listen to me again, okay? That's just me. I truly, truly believe it. I said, look, if I tell you the stock is going to do this, and you don't believe, and I say it's going to do this because I see this, and I'm so sure about it, and I say, yes, it's going to do this, and it doesn't do it, I said, look, it's only fair that you never listen to me again. Because at the end of the day, that's how strongly I believe about what I see and what I can read on chart. It's almost kind of like, say, if I tell you that this word means exit in English, and somebody comes and is like, nope, you got that wrong. It's like, wow, okay, well then maybe I don't know how to read English again, all right? But I know how to read charts, and that's what I do. And so I even encourage a lot of people, it's like, email me about something, let me help you. Now, if it's relating to the things that I'm teaching, I don't give away all my knowledge that I've learned and accumulated over the years. But at the end of the day, I tell people, so look, if you have a question about a stock, I even have it on my blog. If you go to my blog on my website, one of the things I used to do is I will go around seeing what some of these so-called experts will say, and they'll say something about a stock, whether it's going to go up or down. I look at the chart, and I'll see that the chart is like completely like opposite of whatever they're saying. And I was like, wow, the true experts to me is the chart. So then I would write an article just simply based on that, okay? And I started getting into trouble because somebody decided to, I mentioned something about another guru that said the stock was going to go up. I looked at the chart. I said, no, it's not going to go up. It's going to go down. So I wrote a whole article about that. Apparently, it got back to this guru, and then it was like threatening me with lawsuits. Had people, sending nasty emails to me. Had the followers follow me, sending nasty emails to me, and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you go back and you see that I was right. Okay, as much as they, didn't like it and all that stuff, but the fact was I was right. I said, look, this stock is not ready to go higher at all because of what the chart is showing. All right, and so I do a lot of that. And if you see all my posts that I have out there, I've never taken down anything that I posted up before. And everything I do is before the move takes place. You would never see me post something in hindsight. And if I ever talk about something like, hey, I talked about this, then I'll show you the clip that I actually first did before the market moved the way it did. Okay, because that to me is the only thing I really have. That's my bond. That's my word. It's like, look, I will show you my analysis ahead of time, post it out on YouTube. The reason why I did that was because, hey, it's date stamped. Then you can let the market judge and see whether or not it goes up. I've even had people come up to me and say, well, how do I know you can really do this? I said, look, let me give you 3 stocks. I'll give you 3 stocks and go back and watch these 3 stocks. And if it doesn't do what I say, don't ever come back to me. And the funny thing is, these stocks do exactly what I said it's going to do, and they still never come back. So then I stopped doing that again. I was like, if you're really serious, I can show you some stuff. But, don't waste my time asking me to show you proof, and you never still take action in the first place. Okay. But thanks for that. Thanks for asking that question. I appreciate that. All right. So long story short, moving on is, here, the point that I'm trying to make with this whole slide right here is just showing you that, as time went on, this was in February. People thought it was bearish. Okay, that was February. This was in March. People thought it was, bearish. This was in April. People were not taking action. May, they began, deciding to be bullish. But by then it's like, feeling that regret that, hey, wait a second. Oh, man, where was I when the stock frame first went up? And that's what I don't want you guys doing. Again, towards the end of May, my biggest mistake was ignoring this. Okay, I'll show you how you can see this and say, well, why would you want to ignore this if you know, and that's the key word, no, not guess, not think, not hope, but know that this stock's ready to do stuff. All right, and then in June, here's a comment right here. It says, who bought the IPO? I'm not sure how I missed this. Must have been in Thailand with no internet on a crack pipe. Okay, and I thought that was funny too. And then here we are in June, where people were like, oh my gosh, okay, now it's definitely kind of come down. And you go back again, and it's like in June of that year, Ferrari was, still like around $80, and it went higher and higher and higher. Okay, so the whole point that I'm trying to make out of this is people make the mistake because they don't know what to look for. So it's a lot of guessing out there. I try to eliminate guessing out of everything I do and just say, focus on what the chart is telling you and let the chart guide you. And that's what we've done. And we've done that with many stocks. We've done it with Ferrari. We've done it with Alibaba. We've done it with like a bunch of different stocks that have, rewarded us, tremendously well. I have about maybe 26 stocks in my portfolio right now that are strictly nothing but IPO stocks doing the same thing. doing the exact same thing. All right, a little bit about myself. You probably already know a little bit, but long story short is I developed a financial software, so I do have an accounting background. I understand financial statements. It's what I do. Actually, when I first got into the market was because I thought fundamental analysis was the way to go, and that if I knew the financials behind the company, then I would know what company was good or not. So I took my accounting knowledge and my love for numbers and developed a software that could analyze financial statements. And long story short was I tried to start trading the market in 2012 based on this financial statement. And it wasn't that the financial statement itself was flawed, but I found a lot of stocks that were undervalued, but just kept on staying undervalued and never going anywhere. Okay, some of you guys can probably relate to that. And then I found stocks that were, the financials were like horrible. I say these stocks should not even be in existence. They don't have any leg to stand on. And these stocks just kept on going higher and higher and higher. And it's kind of like one of the things that I say, like, okay, why is Bitcoin moving as high as it's moving right now? Okay, there's no fundamental analysis or financial statement you can read on Bitcoin that would say, oh yeah, this is a good value company. And think about all the tech stocks that did phenomenally well in the beginning where they had nothing to support it from the financial statement point of view. So I quickly realized that and said, you know what, nah, this is not the way. Because again, there's no financial statement on any of these Bitcoins that are doing so well or cryptocurrencies that are doing so well that would have said, hey, you know what, yes, this is an undervalued stock, you should buy it. So it has nothing to do with that, okay? And so from there, after blowing my account multiple times, I started just focusing strictly on charts and technical analysis, and that's how I became as good as I am. Like Dan had mentioned earlier, I use that knowledge to predict market bottoms, market tops, over and over and over again. And that's pretty much what happened. So in 2016, like I said, I studied over 2,700 stocks. But my first one, and also in 2016, that's when I went public with Alibaba. There's a video that I have out there on YouTube where it was my very first one where I actually mentioned, and I think this was in August of 2016, where I actually talked about Alibaba. Now, again, I didn't go into full detail, but I said, look, something is happening to Alibaba. At the time it was at $91. I said, something is happening to Alibaba, but I didn't tell them at the time that it was because of the IPO, strategy that I'm talking about. Just I did that because I knew that Alibaba was ready to go higher. And I said, look, watch what's happened to Alibaba. This is going to be phenomenal. Posted it out there. I think it's still out there because I've never taken it down. So it's still out there. You can see that video. You'll see how I did my analysis on it. And then you can see how this stock started going higher since then. Then I started getting people asking me, well, you're only good at this because the market is so bullish right now. So because the market is so bullish, anybody can throw a dart on the wall and they'll do well. I said, no, it has nothing to do with that. Because I even showed them stocks that were coming out also in 2016, IPO stocks that came out in 2016, where I said, look, these stocks, stay away from them. I mean, stay away from these stocks because they are not showing the signs. They're showing signs that they are not going to become winning IPO stocks. Stay away from them. I remember when I first talked about Twilio, the stock right here called Twilio, all right, this one right here. And at the time, I think it was at $60-something. And I said, wow, this stock is it's going to be such a loser that even though it's at $60-something now, I said anybody that is in it needs to be out of this stock because it's probably going to go all the way down to like around the 20s. And I remember one guy in particular sitting in the audience that day when I was speaking, asking me, he said, well, how do you know? And I said, look, just trust me when I say that, based on my analysis and what I know about stocks that do well, based on IPO stocks and stocks that don't, this stock is going to go down. And sure enough, you go look at the stock, I think it hits $20-something, at its lowest price. And even till today, it's still not doing well, okay? Same thing with this stock right here, ACIA. I remember when it was all over the news, everybody was talking about it. And I said, look, I know you guys are talking about it, it sounds good, but it's not displaying that pattern that all the winning IPO stocks display. Watch this stock, get out of it, don't get sucked into it. It's going to falter, it's going to fail. And sure enough, you go look back at that stock right now, both of those stocks are down. So again, I did that mainly because of the people who were skeptical. Like, oh yeah, we're in a bullish market, so any direction you pick, the stock is going to go up. No, it's not. Okay, I could have easily seen that these two were not going to go anywhere, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, one of the other things I'd like to know was the November election. We actually saw the setup right before the election, like 2 days before the election. I think there's a video out there that I put out there where I said, watch what's going to happen to this market. It's like the setup is there. My gosh, this market is ready to go higher. And this was like literally 2 days before the election, because I think the election was on a Tuesday night. We saw this on a Friday. So I did a class on a Saturday and I revealed it. I said, watch what's going to happen to this market. And people don't believe me again, but it's like, again, we could see that this market is ready to go higher. And ever since then, this market has never pulled back to that level since then. Okay, and that's what they call the Trump rally now. All right, so the other one was Snapchat. When Snapchat went IPO in 2017 this year, so many people were talking about Snapchat. Is this going to be Facebook or is it going to be a Twitter? Is it going to be a Facebook? Is it going to be a Twitter? And I even knew people who were, business owners for the first time, like, man, because, a lot of online marketing was being done. And so people knew about Instagram and Snapchat. And so Snapchat was going on. It's like, wow, this must be it. This must be it. Let me get into Snapchat so I can make some money and don't miss out like Facebook did. And I looked at the chart and I said, nope, Snapchat is not showing that sign. I said, my gosh, stay away from Snapchat. Stay away from Snapchat. And I still had people like, oh, is it now? Is it ready to go? And I was like, it is not one of those that is showing signs that it's going to become a winner. Stay away from Snapchat. This stock is going to go down. And so lo and behold, we can all see where Snapchat is today. All right. But these are all things that, again, I was able to see just by looking at charts. So in a nutshell, in a span of 4 years, and I say that because some people, they look at it and say, okay, 4 years, well, what can you have known in 4 years? All right. That would be like saying that, an 18-year-old internet guy is a multimillionaire. And it's like somebody who's like in their 50s and it took them 50 years to become a millionaire say, oh, wow, how can an 18-year-old become a millionaire or a 15-year-old become a millionaire now? Okay. It's like, the years that you spend in the market, yes, it sounds like, the more years you spend, the better. But again, the way people used to analyze the market back then with fundamentals and all that kind of stuff, as to the way people are doing the market now is completely different, okay? And I look at that as like, you can go the old route, which is looking at fundamentals, or you can go the new route, which is looking at, the charts. Just like, hey, you can go the old route of, buying a big old land and, digging for oil and stuff like that to try to become a multimillionaire, or you can do what a lot of these young people are doing right now, which is, online stuff, technology stuff, softwares and stuff like that, and then next thing you know, they become, millionaires overnight. But for somebody who, took 30 years digging oils, in Texas or somewhere, to become a millionaire and say, oh, well, this, 16-year-old that became a millionaire must have no experience, it's like, it's not true, because times have changed, all right? But I went from a complete novice 4 years ago to being able to, identify market tops, market bottoms, all-time highs over and over and over again. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, like over and over and over again, okay? Seeing stocks that, experts on TV, experts on the internet, experts on radio talking about, go back to the chart and say, oh, yeah, I agree with this, oh, no, I don't agree with this, and not having to go to anybody else, but being able to just look at the chart myself and say, wow, these stocks are ready to go higher. And then I discovered one of the best unique charting patterns that I have never heard anybody talk about. I mean, literally, I have never heard anybody talk about IPO the way I talk about IPO. And I used to even have something back then where I said, look, I challenge anybody to show me, and I will even say that today. I challenge anybody to show me one person, one seminar, webinar, whatever, where they were able to identify IPO stock the way I talk about this ahead of time, okay? And if they can see this before I started talking, so I started talking about IPOs in 2016. So if you can find anybody before 2016 that was showing my strategy, what I would say is I will give you my course absolutely free, okay? If you can find one person that talks about how to identify the IPO stocks like I talk about, okay, I would give you my course absolutely free, absolutely free. And if you've already paid for it, I'll refund that money back, because I know, like, I searched over and over and over, and there was nothing out there, okay? All right, so imagine what your trade would be like if you knew exactly, how to make money with stocks that can double, triple, quadruple in price, okay? Not guessing, not hoping, not wishing, but you knew with absolute certainty that it was going to happen. What would your trading be like if you knew that? If you knew, wow, this stock is the stock that is going to do what Wally just talked about, okay? And you can actually go in there and actually trade it without worrying about, oh, is this the one that is not going to do this? Because you will see very clearly how to do that. Imagine what that would be like. Imagine knowing that you can get into a stock and say, like, no, I don't have to worry about this one being a loser stock like Twitter or like Snapchat, because I know that this one is displaying the exact same pattern that Netflix displayed and Amazon displayed and Facebook displayed and Apple displayed, okay? It's like, wow, imagine what that would be like. I mean, I know for me, it's like, I don't want to call it euphoria, but it's like, man, the excitement. And then now I'm in over 26 stocks that are doing the exact same thing. It's like, wow. It's like making money now. It's like, and here's a cool thing. You don't even have to worry about anything else but just the chart and just follow the chart. Like, it used to be where I used to be concerned about what was going on around the world. I used to be concerned about whether earnings was coming out or not. Now I don't even worry about any of that stuff, because I was like, wow, I know the stocks that are going to do well. And it doesn't matter, whether North Korea is trying to, develop nuclear weapons, or China is, racking up debt, or Russia is, is playing fair or not. It had nothing to do with that. I mean, these stocks just do what they're going to do, because the charts already said they were going to do what they're going to do. All right. And I mean, it's just amazing to know that type of information. So here's Ferrari that I talked about, earlier, my very, very first IPO stock that I traded back in 2016. Stock is already up 277% from its lows. Okay, and this is on the stock. Now, again, I'm not even talking about what you can do as far as leverage and with margins, or what you can do with the options or anything like that. This is just being able to read the chart. Okay, just being able to read chart, knowing what stock is going to go up and which ones are not going to go up, and that's what this is. Okay, Alibaba, I mentioned that earlier. Here's the stock Square. Okay, all these stocks that I'm showing you guys right here are stocks that I'm in. Okay, this is one called Ollie's. Same thing. Weebio. Now, this one, I have to be honest, I never was in this stock itself. All right, this was one that I completely missed. I don't know how I missed it, but I completely missed this one. All right, so again, that's what I'm trying to show you guys, and my results are not typical, like I try to tell people. Okay, my goal is that, by the time you finish your mind, I don't want you walking away saying I didn't get anything out of it. You should be able to like, wow, I'm getting good results out of this. So much so that if I had any students, I'm not getting any good results, I know they're doing something wrong, and I immediately jump on that and say, look, what are you doing wrong? Because it's not the material. It's something that, mentally, psychologically, emotionally that's going on that is causing you to not do well. And it's one of the first things I jump on. It's like, no, what are you doing wrong? Because you should not be losing money. It's like, again, it's just crazy if I see anybody losing money using this strategy. Okay. So I'll walk you through this system that I'm using to get great results. Share, with this. I have an offer that I offer you guys at the end. Of course, yes, I'm going to sell you some stuff. Some people don't like that. I'll even show you something that somebody once, commented and say, oh, are you really making money off this, or are you just selling stuff? No, I make money. Trust me, I make money. And yes, I do sell too. If you expect me to give this away for free, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. All right. Did you know that you could actually grow your account faster with IPO stocks than any other strategy out there? We'll talk about that a little bit. Identifying winners from the losers is easier than you might think, and it's one of the safest strategies even in a bear market. Now, I haven't gone through an exact bear market yet, but I have tested this over those years. So we had two bear markets in the time that I tested it, which was in 2000 to 2003, and we had the financial bear market that we had in 2008. And again, every single IPO stock that displayed those winning trades, even in those bear markets, did well. Okay, and so that's another thing that is like, hey, come on, bear market. I mean, so many people are afraid of this bear market right now. Are we at the top? Is it a bubble? Is it a bubble? Well, once you know how to do this, it won't really matter, because you can find the ones that are going to show it. They'll do the same thing again. But the reason why I believe I see IPO stocks as one of the fastest ways you can build your portfolio than any other form is because when you're dealing with IPO stocks are in their growth phase, okay? They are literally in their growth phase. So that means that they can move. I mean, if you look at Bitcoin, why is it that, Bitcoin can move 1,000 points in one day, can move, 25% in one day? I mean, try getting that out of Apple, 25% in one day. I mean, even on a good day of earnings, I don't even think Apple would move 25%. Maybe 10% would be good or something like that, but 25%? And it's like, this is happening over and over and over. Yes, it has volatility and it drops 25%, but again, the reason why they can move so well is because they're in their beginning phases. They're in that beginning, that growth phase. Okay, eventually they get to a phase where they become mature and it becomes another blue chip stock, and then it's just like, hey, man, if we get 5% out of it in a day, oh man, that's a good day. I remember, what was it? I think it was Amazon. Amazon moved up 10% on earnings, the last earnings it had. And it was all over the news. Oh my gosh, Amazon moved up 10%. Okay. And that's because, man, 10% from Amazon now is like huge. That's huge for them. Okay. So, and I'm not saying nothing wrong with Amazon. I mean, look, Amazon is a great company to trade. But again, to get 10% in a day, and that was like that one day. Probably the one that I think they said before that, the last time it had a 10% move was like, I want to say 2 to 3 years prior to that. Okay, was that when it had a 10% move in one day. But go look at Bitcoin right now. Go look at some of these IPO stocks that are doing well. I mean, 10%, no problem. Okay, go look at stocks like Roku. All right, I think today alone already moved up, 10, 8, 9, 10% already. Before that, I think last month it moved up 115% in 1 month. Okay, you don't get those type of moves out of blue chip stocks like Apple and Amazon and Facebook anymore. But in the beginning, when they're in that growth phase, my gosh, you can get those type of returns. And what I like about that is, like, it takes the risk out of what you have in penny stocks, because then I get people saying, well, only penny stocks have those type of returns consistently over and over and over. And that might be true, but at the same time, it's like when you find the right type of IPO stock that is showing that, yes, it is going to become one of those winners, it's not impossible for it to move. And you eliminate the risk of what you might deal with penny stocks. Now, I'm not an expert in penny stocks, but I know that there's a lot of risk in penny stocks that people mention. So whether it's true or not, I don't know, because I don't trade penny stocks. But my thing is, like, look, I bet you that it's probably, less risk than penny stocks, because these are stocks that already display that they're going to become winners. They'll become the big names that everybody talks about and everybody wants to become part of going forward. But the key is catching it before it gets to that point. And what I like about it is, like, there's plenty to choose from. So I don't have to, like, restrict myself to penny stocks. I don't have to restrict myself to, one particular type of stock. It's like, look, I can take my time, scan for the right stocks, and see which ones I want to trade and pick wisely. The other thing I like about it is it takes less work than day trading. Now, some people just love day trading. Nothing wrong with that either. But for me, day traded. I remember trading so many times and just having a headache. I had one friend who actually traded 60 trades in a day and ended up with a 3% loss. And he was happy. And mind you, I think that was great, because at the end of the day, he was a guy that was losing money at the beginning of the day, and by the end of the day, he was able to recoup most of his losses and only walk away with $3 loss. So, he did good for that day. But at the end of the day, it was still 60 different trades that he had to put on just to walk away with that. It's like, wow, really? It's like, what if I could show you an easier way where, you can buy the stock at the beginning of the month and come back at the end of the month and the stock is higher, okay? And that's it. Just buy the beginning of the month, come back next month, stock is higher. And you don't have to be sitting there every single day worrying about it. You don't have to, most of the time, I don't even care about when earnings comes out anymore. Interesting enough, most of the moves will actually take place during earnings, okay? And so that's another thing. I've heard a lot of people say this year was difficult for day trading because a lot of the moves happen pre-market. Well, that's one of the things you don't have to worry about when you're in these stocks that show you that they are going to do really well. It's because, when earning comes out and the move takes place, it happens, pre-market or post-market, okay? And by the next morning when the stock is already moved up gigantically, for day traders, they've missed a good portion of that trade. So if anything, what used to be so fearful for me, meaning earnings, is turned to something that I look forward to now. I actually look forward to. It's like, oh yeah, and it's not like I even sit down and look at my stocks and say, okay, which one's having earnings today? But most of it's like when I see a big move, it's like, yeah, this is good. But when I see something bigger than normal, okay, now it's like, oh, it must have had earnings today. Great job. And that's pretty much it, okay? Have I had any that went against me? Yes, I've had some, okay? But at the end of the day, even when it does, the beauty of this is, like, if it's one of those that becomes winner, those are buying opportunities, okay? Buying opportunities just to see them go even higher, all right? So remember the Ferrari stock that I talked about? Man, this stock took me about a total of an hour and 20 minutes since the time I got in till today that it took me to invest in my, from April of last year, I spent a total of an hour and 20 minutes trading this and having triple digit returns on the stock. Okay, and that's what I mean by that. That's what you see right here. Alibaba. Even with the video that I did when I first came out with the video on Alibaba, all the research that I had to do and everything, okay, took me about a total of 48 hours that I've spent so far into Alibaba. And again, the stock has gone up since then over 190%. Here's a stock that I always talk about. It's the one that I never got into. And I say that because for two reasons. One is, again, we can see things happen. This was actually one that I did in one of my Saturday morning class where, people come in, they get to see my trades and all that kind of stuff, right? And see, we started talking about which ones we're going to pick. And this one was in, I think, August of this year. And we had seen this stock, and I say, hey, guys, again, another stock that is showing very great signs that it's ready to go higher. We need to get into this stock come Monday, okay, because I did the class on a Saturday. I come in on Monday. The stock was already up 32%. I was like, wow. Why is the stock up 32%? It didn't matter. I just need to be in, right? So I said, okay, well, let's wait till it opens. Maybe when it opens, I get in. As soon as it opens, it jumps up to 62%. I was like, are you kidding me? 62% from the open? I mean, literally in 3 seconds from the open, it went from 32 to 62. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. What in the world? And so I decided I wasn't going to jump in. I was like, let me just sit back and wait because, man, this thing has gone up 62%. I don't want to chase this. And I regret not doing so because, hey, by the end of the day, this stock was up 83% or something like that. And by the end of the month, it was up 182%. Again, good luck trying to find these type of moves on Facebook today or on Amazon today or on Google today. It's just not going to happen. Very rarely would that happen, okay? But you find that on IPO stocks. And as much as everybody's like, Bitcoin currency, cryptocurrency, that's good. And I know that cryptocurrency is getting all the media hype, but what about the other stocks this month that is going to actually move just as much that nobody's talking about now today, okay? That is going to do the same thing again next month. And another one that's going to do the same thing again next month. But just knowing how to find them. And yes, let everybody hold on to the Bitcoins and cryptocurrency, but you can find the ones that are going to do something just like this each and every month. It's like, is it worth your time to do so? I think so. Because this stock has been up 480% since then. Here's another stock, Borzon, has been up 600% since last year. So that was about, one. But second thing is identifying them is easier than you might think. And what I mean by that is again, I don't need fundamental analysis whatsoever. Don't need no financial statements. Again, if you don't believe me in that, just go look at Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies. You do not need fundamental analysis whatsoever to do so, all right? You don't need insider's knowledge in buying or selling or anything like that. I don't need company outlooks. I don't need to know any new developments or Fed policy, none of that kind of stuff. It's just simply looking at charts and whether it's going to work or it's not going to work, okay? And so what I do is I've simplified everything that I've done in my research, and I spent hours. I'm talking about hours. God bless my wife. She was there. She saw me, late at nights, working to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just going over charts, trying to figure this stuff out. And then after I've done all that, I've simplified it to a two-step process where it's like, hey, if you know how to look for this, then you know how to identify. And part of the reasons why I did that was I have a 6-year-old son. And I told my wife, I said, look, if something was to ever happen to me, how do I leave a legacy behind it? He's 6 years old. I have a daughter that's 3. So look, I want them to be well taken care of. Yes, it's good to give them money and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, if they don't know how to produce more money, okay, then it's just a matter of time, depending on how responsible they are, they can squander that wealth, or they can learn how to make more money. And that was my whole thing. It's like, I love, the aspect of knowing how to multiply money, knowing how to increase money, rather than just, saving. And so I told my wife, I said, look, in case anything was to happen to me, give them these sets of, recordings. Okay, I did some recordings. I wrote some my notes. I say, if you gave them this, and they were to apply this, even at 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, they should be able to, find some money, put it in the market, and if they just follow these rules, they will be able to do well. And that's kind of like why I simplified it that much, all right? And my son is not using it yet. He's still 6, but by the time he turns 10, it's like, God willing, I'll be alive. I'll be able to teach him how to do that. And if not, then hopefully my wife or whoever his custodian will be there to help him with that. But that's the whole point. So I try to simplify it as much as possible. And this is really great because I have a guy, his name is Raphael. He's 83. And he's been to like so many different places, and it's like, man, people speak too fast or it's too complicated. He just couldn't understand it. And so when he heard about me, he said, hey, I don't know if you can help me or not. I said, Raphael, I have one thing. I said, look, if this can work for a 10-year-old, then it should be able to work for you too as well. And so I showed it to him. He's like, wow, this is what I've been looking for the longest time. I've wasted so much. He said, you do not know. He calls me my man. He's like, you do not know, my man, that I've been looking for something just as simple as this for so long, and I'm so glad that you brought this to my attention now. And I think yesterday, he placed his very first trade yesterday. So on average, it takes no more than 5 minutes max to differentiate the winners from the losers. People sometimes find that hard to believe. I have a nephew who's now down with me. He's becoming an apprentice of mine now. He wants to learn how to trade market. He's seen what I've been able to do. And I said, look, I said, yeah, I say 5 minutes, but it actually takes less than that. Okay, but I said when I first started telling people how long it really took, they didn't believe me. So I said, look, so I kind of like, exaggerated it to 5 minutes, but it really takes less than that. And so he's 20 years old, never traded before in his life, didn't even know what a bull market was from a bear market. And I started showing him, and now he's like, uncle, I got $140. Can I go invest that in this IPO that I just seen? And I was like, yeah, let's work on that. Let's do that. Okay, and so that's kind of like what he's doing now. And so for him to be able to do that, again, 20-year-old, never knew didn't even know what a bull market was or bear market. And now he's coming here and saying, hey, uncle, I seen this stock. What do you think? Should I get it? It's like, this looks good. And I tell him, it's like, well, tell me what you see. And he's like, this, and that. I said, how long did that take you to this? Like, uncle, it took me less than, seconds to do this. And I was like, great. I said, I think you're ready. Okay. All right. So here's Twilio that I was talking about. Okay, so it was somewhere around here, around this $60-something when I said it was going to go down. So this is that Twilio that I told you in 2016 when I said, yeah, this stock is going to go down. So somewhere around here, and sure enough, you can see where the stock is today. Here's that other one that I talked about. Again, it was somewhere around here when that happened. To be able to see the top, and that's the thing. And again, I tell people, look, I can see tops. I have strategies on how to see tops, market tops. I'm talking about even before the market crashes. This is why I'm not even concerned about a bear market ever again, because I can see this. And it's just interesting. It's like I was able to just do a study from back in from the 10 greatest market crashes that we've had since the Great Depression. And it's amazing how, wow, candlesticks can actually tell you and show you these kind of things. Now, I know they didn't have candlesticks back in 1929 like they do now, but at the end of the day, it's like, you can apply that same, candlestick analysis and how I read charts. You go back to to 1929, and you can actually see that, because on Thinkorswim now you can actually go back to 1929 and see what the charts were showing during those times, and it's like, man, amazingly accurate, amazingly accurate. The next one I did was 1987. When I went to 1987, it's like the great Black Monday crash, and my gosh, it's so amazing to see that how out the same methodology and the systems and strategies that I used would have shown you that, hey, this market was ready to come crashing down, so that everybody looking back now said, oh wow, I was caught off guard. You do not have to get caught off guard. And so again, going back to this, we saw what was happening right there before all this took place. Okay, and that is the beauty of being able to read charts, being able to see that 69% loss. This was Twilio again. We saw this right around here, that this was about to happen. Okay, and that is the beauty of all this. All right, moving on. Amazon, we can now see Amazon has gone up, what, 83,000%. And again, I can show you things that will show you that this stock. Now, did I know it was going to go 83,000% exactly? No, I didn't know it was going to go 83,000%. But what I did know, and what the pattern displayed, is like this was a stock that was going to become a winner. Okay, same thing with Netflix, 17,000%. Did I know it was going to go 17,000%? No, I did not. But did I know that it had the same pattern of every winning IPO stock? Yes, I did. Okay. Same thing with Apple, 15,000%. This stock right here, Templeton Emerging Markets. Okay. And the reason why I did this too is because, like, I started having people like, well, is this only good for American markets? No, it's not just good for American markets. It's good for all markets. I've seen this. I did some studies on Canadian stocks. I did studies on the London Stock Exchange. I did studies on the Australian market as well, and even Singapore as well too, and South Africa. just to see, like, hey, show me some of these stocks that just went public, and is it possible to apply the same methodology on them? And it worked just as well. Another one, 475%. Another one here, 288%. So last thing is, again, safer strategy even in a bear market. Now, I keep on forgetting to add this slide too, but this is a stock that was actually in the retail sector, and this was in 2015. If you know anything about what's been happening to the retail sector, go look at the chart. I think the chart is XRT. That's the retail sector. XRT. If you go look at the chart of XRT, you see that in 2015, the stock has been going, that whole sector has been going out, which is the retail sector, okay? So this stock is also a retail sector stock, and it displayed the same time right when the retail sector was going down, and everybody's been hearing about retail sector going down, and it's been going down for 2.5 years now, all right? But it went right when it started going down, this stock went IPO, and it started showing winning, one of those winning patterns that we look for. And in a sector or industry that was just going down for 2.5 years, look at what this stock has been doing. Okay, again, another example of, hey, it doesn't matter whether it's a bull market, bear market, whatever. If they display the same pattern, you know that these stocks will do well. Okay, 209% in an industry sector that everybody was saying stay away from, stay away from, stay away. I remember when I was getting into this stock, I said, oh, retail, I won't touch retail. I won't touch retail. Things are looking bad in retail. And then as it kept on going on, I hope you sold your positions in that stock in retail because retail is doing really bad. I hate for you to lose all that money. I say, well, when the chart tells me it's time to get out, I will. But until then, keep on making money. And we still in till today, by the way. Till today, we're still in that stock. So again, it's easy to identify. It's just one simple chart pattern with two simple approach to it, and that's it. And the reason why I say that too, because I remember when I first started my office, I went in there and I brought in like about, I think, 14 different monitors? No, I'm sorry, not 14, I'm sorry. I brought in 5 different monitors, thinking I need all these monitors to be able to make good decisions. But at the end of the day, I realized that, you know what, simple is better. And now all I need is literally one monitor, and that's it. And I can tell you, I could even do it on my phone now. That's how easy it's got, okay? It takes less than 1 hour. Let me start wrapping it up. Again, the whole idea is you can grow your account so much faster with IPO stocks than any other strategy that I know of out there. Then find the winners is not as hard as you think it might be. It's so simple. Matter of fact, by the time you see, it was so simple. One person I remember saying, it's like, hey, did I miss something? I don't think I caught it. And I was like, no, you didn't miss it. It's like, this is it. It's like, wow, I can't believe it's that simple. I said, that's exactly what it is. Okay. So here's my offer to you guys. My offer to you guys is that I will show you what that pattern is when you come to my live webinar on Monday, this Monday. So this coming Monday, if you come to my live webinar, I will show you exactly what that pattern is, okay? If you go to this URL right here, okay, tinyurl.com/MarketFest IPO, okay? If you go there and you sign up on that, I will show you what that one pattern is that will literally change the way you look at IPO stocks going forward. Guarantee. How many times do you hear people say they guarantee something, okay? I guarantee it that it would change the way you look at IPO stocks going forward just by knowing that one little pattern, okay? So I invite you guys to definitely check out that website. Again, if you have to take a screenshot of this, go ahead and do so, but make sure you click on that link and sign up for this Monday's webinar. All right, here's what you're going to learn in there. I'm going to be showing you, again, that pattern. Also, I'm going to show you guys the mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes to avoid when it comes to trading IPO stocks. A lot of people I've seen, some people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, some people have mentioned that, IPO stocks are risky, they don't have no data. I will show you how to avoid all those mistakes and just look for that top critical sign that it displays, that the losers don't display, and just focus on that. And as soon as you see that, I don't care what the stock is, what they're doing or anything. If it shows that, just buy it. If not, you're going to be like those people that I showed you on Ferrari saying, man, where was I when this stock did this, okay? The cool thing about this is, like, it also does it too on cryptocurrency. So a lot of people that want to get into cryptocurrency, okay, let me show you guys how you can find. So, there's a bunch of cryptocurrency. I know Bitcoin is the one that everybody keeps on talking about, okay? And I did not even know about Bitcoin until about 2 months ago. I went to Vegas when they had the Traders Expo, and I started listening. I said, what is this whole thing about? And the only thing I kept on telling people was like, show me a chart, show me a chart. If I can just see a chart of any Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, then I'll feel more comfortable, because if I can see a chart and I can read the chart of it, then I'll know. And lo and behold, they showed me a chart. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, and I started telling people then, it's like, get into Bitcoin, get into Bitcoin, because it showed the same winning pattern. I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And so now it's like, hey, there are other cryptocurrencies that are out there that you can go, because people are like, hey, this type of cryptocurrency, should I invest in this, should I invest in that? Well, how would you like to like eliminate all those questions and doubts and really just do that? Okay, let's know which ones are going to be winners from the ones that are not going to become winners. Okay, so let me try something here. I'm not sure if I can do that. Well, I'll try to. No, that's fine. Okay, so let's see. All right, the next thing is, let's see, what are you going to learn? What are you going to learn? All right. So if you were to go on my website, and I have a video on this, if you were to go to my website, you'll be paying $350 to learn all this. But I'm going to give it to you guys for much less, because, you know, I'm on this call with Investor Success. Now, there are two types of listeners, and this is kind of what I alluded to this. This is a comment that somebody made about the same exact presentation. Like, hey, dude, do you really make money trading, or are you just trying to make money from trying to sell crap? Okay? As I watched the whole video, never heard of no original crap. I heard it all before, and oh yeah, we need to, and basically he was saying like, oh yeah, we need to sign up, we need to pay, you know, something to, like, you know, find the actual secret. And yes, it is. I mean, I'm not going to shy away from that. Look, I put in a lot of work, okay? So for somebody to think that I'm going to give them all this stuff that I put a whole lot of work into for free, I say, look, that's not the way I operate. I understand some people do that. Fine, that's them. But if you want to know what I know, okay, I'm not going to give it away for free. I put in too much work to give this much information away for free. And so basically, you can be like this person, or you can be like this person. So so we had this person that came in here and was very skeptical, upset. I don't know what the real emotion is, but basically it's like, hey, I've heard it all before. And I said, well, and I even, you know, went back and I said, look, show me where you've heard it before, and I'll let you in for free. And again, that still stands today. Show me where you've heard it before 2016. If you show me anything after 2016, then more than likely they probably took my information, okay? But if you can show me where you've heard this before 2016, I will let you in for free, okay? So then now you can get it for free, because I know there's nothing like this. So come and say, oh, I've heard this all before. No, I don't believe that. I really, really do not believe that, okay? Because again, I searched too as well. And I even had people that have signed up and paid and, you know, kind of started learning. It's like, yeah, we've never seen this before. I've not seen one person when I revealed it to them say, yeah, I've seen this before somewhere. Okay. So again, you can be like this person up here, skeptical, or you can be like this person who actually took action, signed up, came to the class. And by the time, you know, you can see this is, you know, this is them. They put their name in there, but, you know, they were on the call, and basically this is what they said. This has been great. I love what you are teaching. And here's the interesting thing. They paid for, so they were actually in another class that they paid for the VIX tape. And this one, I'm not offering the VIX tape this time around. They paid for a VIX tape, and it has paid for half the class already, okay? And the class that I was doing that time was like a $1,000 class. So they used the information they learned, put it to action, and they already made over $500 just like that, okay? And were able to attend this class that I was then offering. All right. So again, there are two types of people: those who, you know, don't believe it works, and those who are saying, look, at least show me what this is all about. Okay. And then I'll make my decision after I see that. Here's some other people that took action that were in the class. It says, this is somebody, again, a guy named Lawrence. This is a great strategy to find. Very impressive. They won't be saying that if they did not see it as that, okay? This person right here, excellent. This is just blowing my mind. That's what they're saying, again, because I simplified it so much. It's like, and this is another one. This is smarter and more conservative, okay? This is that Raphael guy that I was telling you about, 83-year-old guy, okay? This is smarter and more conservative. He just loved it, loved it, loved it, all right? So there are people that are doing well with it, okay? And there are people who, you know, never signed up, don't know what I teach, but then make all these type of comments out there. I don't want you guys to be that way, okay? So again, I want to invite you guys 6 p.m., all right? Again, if you went to my website, it'll cost you $350. Let's say it even costs $350. Would it be worth your time? Would it be worth your time to buy this information, learn this information for $350? Look, I went to college, okay? I studied accounting, and I had to pay about 12 grand a year for 4 years going to college. And when the market crashed in 2008, none of the stuff I learned in college saved me from that. Not a single thing that I learned from college saved me from that. Now, people might look at it, well, that's your fault. Okay, I understand. But the fact is, I was not prepared for the market crash in 2008. Okay, I did not know which stocks to buy. I didn't know which stocks not to buy. Okay, and so looking at this, it's like, hey, even if I had to pay $350, would it be worth it to you to pay $350 as opposed to 12 grand for 4 years and not know what to do, not know which stocks, be guessing, and let's be like, you know, you don't want to be that way. Okay, yes, it's 6 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you for pointing that out. 6 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, and I do record every single one of these. I record them. So again, all you have to do is just sign up, all right? I'm giving it to you guys for $67, okay? So when somebody comes to me and tells me, oh yeah, this is crap, okay, and I'm letting you in for $67 to learn this strategy that I took many, many hours, days, weeks, and even months to develop, and then you come to me and you say, oh, it's crap, and you don't even know what it is, it's like, that is an insult, okay? And I understand, okay, it's not for everybody. That's fine. But at the end of the day, the people who have taken action, I have not had one person come back to me and say, this stuff does not work. Not one person. Okay, knock on wood now. Somebody might come. But even if it does, if somebody else comes, it's like, if it doesn't work, it's because you're doing something wrong. I mean, I spend way too much time, effort, and energy into this, okay? So again, 6:30 Eastern time. If you can't make it, still sign up because I will have it recorded and the recording will go out to you, okay? But for $67 to learn what type of stocks are going to do well, then if you decide you want to do margins or you want to do options on it, or you want to go into cryptocurrency and use the same information, is it worth your time to do that? I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer. Okay. So again, live webinar, last chance to do this, $67. You sign up at tinyurl.com/MarketFest IPO. And you will be blown away. Again, and if you've seen this anywhere else before 2016, where you can say, oh yeah, you know, this person taught the exact same thing, you let me know and you'll get your money back, guaranteed, okay? But I'm pretty sure you would not find anybody out there because even I search, and I searched for a long time, okay? So that is it for me. I appreciate everybody being on the call. I'm not sure if Dan is still on the call and can hear me, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you guys. But just tinyurl.com/MarketFest IPO. And I look forward to seeing everybody on the class Monday evening.